I wanted to come up with a B plan. The rules are changing all the time here in Thailand. In the old days, for instance, you could stay here forever. You just got in a minibus and you went over the border someplace, Cambodia, and you did that once a month and nobody was worried about it as long as you had a current stamp in your passport. But those days have long gone now. Immigration has tightened up, quite rightly so. And they're always changing the rules and making it tougher, although they do welcome well-behaved guests into the kingdom, as always. Now, what would happen if they suddenly changed the rooms? They suddenly changed the rules and they said, okay, well, if you're on a retirement visa, I'm talking about generally, not just me. If you're on a retirement visa currently, you need 800,000 baht in the bank, or you need to show 65,000 baht a month income coming in every month. Now, what would happen if they changed that and said, you need 3 million in the bank, or even 5 million, or you need to show 100 or 120,000 a month coming in? A lot of people just couldn't do it. Myself, for one, I couldn't show 3 million in the bank. I have assets and everything, but liquid cash, I couldn't do it. So it got me to thinking, if the worst came to the worst and I had to leave Thailand, where would I go? I've got no particular interest in going to places like Hong Kong, Singapore, Korea, Japan. They don't really interest me. I've been to the Philippines. It didn't really do it. It's quite a nice place, but it's not really my sort of place. I'm giving you a personal opinion now. I haven't been to Vietnam. Maybe that's another one to take a look at. But I went to Cambodia 25 years ago and Siem Reap this time. And I'm asking myself the question, if the worst came to the worst and I had to leave Thailand, could I live in Cambodia? I've done a bit of research online. I went there recently, as I've just said, and I want to tell you my findings and I want to give you my personal opinion. Now, by no means am I an expert on Cambodia. I've spent very little time there, but from what time I have spent there and from what I've seen, I'd like to share with you today. And at the end, I'll give you my conclusion. I'll let you know, is it a place I actually think that I could stay? So the first thing I want to talk about as far as Cambodia goes, well, let's talk about Siem Reap, not Cambodia. I'm talking about Siem Reap because it's like comparing Bangkok to maybe Hua Hin. They're completely different, aren't they? I wouldn't want to live in the capital. I went there about 25 years ago. I'm getting older. If I move and retire properly, then it'd be somewhere smaller like Siem Reap. And Siem Reap is geared up for tourists. That's what I particularly like about it, which I'll go through here. So first of all, as far as Siem Reap goes, let's talk about crime. From what I can gather, it's very, very safe. There is the occasional pickpocketing in tourist areas, things like that, if you're not careful. But then that's everywhere, isn't it? And from what I've read, crime against tourists, like vicious crime, violent crime, is very, very rare. So I don't think that's something to worry about in Siem Reap. The next thing is the people. How are the people compared to Thailand? Well, quite frankly, I found them very, very friendly. It reminded me of when I first came to Thailand 30 years ago. Now, the Thais are still nice people, don't get me wrong, but they're different. They've got to learn. When I first got here 30 years ago, there hadn't been a lot of foreigners. There weren't a lot of foreigners coming here just on holiday, as it were. There were business people here, people who work for companies and things. And over the years, a lot of the foreigners who come here have not been well behaved, and they grind down the staff, and they're not as friendly and polite as they used to be, and a lot of that's got to do with our fault, not theirs. Okay, so as far as Cambodia, that hasn't happened yet. I found the staff all extremely, very, very friendly, very nice. They still give you the why when you go in. Tuk-tuk drivers, for example, amazing. Most of them spoke the language because there's so many tourists there. Very friendly, didn't try to rip me off. And in some cases, they'd say, well, you pay me what you think I'm worth. And so the people come across as extremely genuine, friendly, and it didn't come across as fake. So that's the first thing. The visa system, from what I gather, is a lot easier in Cambodia than what it is in Thailand. I've just gone through the process of what you need to do to obtain a visa here in Thailand. In Cambodia, it's a lot easier. You're going to go for the E-class visa as opposed to the tourist visa. And then once you're there, you'd apply for something called an EB visa, I believe it is. But it's just nothing like Thailand. So I believe you can, if you use an agent, you can get the year-long. There's no such thing as a retirement visa in Cambodia, okay? It's kind of a business visa, but they don't have a problem. Nobody has a problem staying on year after year after year. And from what I can gather, if you use an agent, the cost is going to cost you around $300 a year to get a year visa in Cambodia. There's no stipulation that you have to go to immigration or go online every 3 months. There's no minimum amount you have to have in the bank, okay? It's that simple. So again, you know, if you're one of this video is really for people who are going to retire out here and they're thinking, is Thailand getting a bit expensive? Is there an alternative? So just with the visa there, the money you're going to save, $300 a year, you put it into perspective with what you need to stay in Thailand. Is that a correct word I've just said there? Okay, let me talk about the food a little bit. Now, again, I wasn't there for a whole I wasn't there for a long period, but I did make the effort, and I did try some Cambodian food. One of the things that winds me up more than anything is when I make a video here in Thailand, just going off subject a little bit, but when I make a video here in Thailand, and I might go out for a pizza or show somebody I've had good fish and chips, I always get the same comments where people say, you're in Thailand, what are you doing eating foreign food? You should be eating Thai food. And my answer to that is, yeah, if you come here for 2 weeks, that's all well and good. But when you live here full time, you can't eat Thai food for breakfast, lunch and dinner 365 days a year. And anybody who says they can, I'd be very dubious about it. So it's the same thing. If you go out to Cambodia, you're going to want your own home food, aren't you? So I tried everything. Now, the good thing about Siem Reap in particular, because of the temples and there's so many tourists going there, and they're not gangs of young men or mongers and not them sort of tourists. It's mainly couples, okay, families and couples, but for the most part, couples. And you see young couples anywhere from kind of, I don't know, 24, 25, going right up to 40, 50. They're real tourists, you know, they go there to look at the many temples. So first of all, talking about the foreign food, because there are so many foreigners who go there for the temples, and they all congregate in one area, and that's generally Pub Street. So if you lived there and you thought to yourself, oh, I fancy a pizza or I fancy a steak or something, it is available. You don't necessarily have to live in a tourist area. You could live in the city, and I did go into the city, and it's very, very clean in the centre of town. And I'll talk about apartments and things in a bit. But you've got that on hand. It's like I can compare it to Pattaya. It's like living in Jomtien, for instance, just as an example. And you want to go out and have a Burger King. Okay, I don't know if they've got a Burger King in Jomtien, but if they didn't, just for the sake of this video, it's 10 minutes over to Pattaya, and you've got everything: Burger King, McDonald's, a whole range. So it's similar in Cambodia. If you wanted some foreign food, it's available for you. Now, the thing with the Thai food, it's dirt cheap. If you go to the market, I had a meal on next on the river. They've got some great little markets there, and the food's delicious. It's very similar to Thai food, but it's not spicy. It's completely not spicy at all. In fact, I had a problem because I had to keep asking them to put lots of chilies in them. They're kind of looking at me like, are you sure? But the food was nice. A typical Cambodian chicken fried rice, for instance, $1.50. Okay, what's that, 50 baht? Very, very cheap. If you eat foreign food, you're going to pay anywhere between $4 and $6. Now, the dollars is the currency in Cambodia. When you go to an ATM machine and you make a withdrawal, you're going to get US dollars. The local currency ringgit is basically, it's used for small change. Okay, you can spend it, but it's small change. Now, if you withdraw dollars from an ATM machine, the charge is quite high. It's between $4 and $6 a transaction. So you'd need to keep that in mind. There are probably cheaper ways to get your hands on your money, maybe go into the bank and withdraw it. If you live there, you'd find all of this out. But generally, it's dollars. So when you're talking about the currency, that's what you need to take into consideration, not the local currency. One myth as well, and I did mention this in another video that I made recently about Cambodia, is that people will tell you, you know, if you spend a $50 note and your meal is $7, you'll get the change all in Riyadh. That's not true, especially in a tourist area. They'll give you the change in dollars from the $50, and they might have to make up $1 or $2 in Riyadh, which you can 4,000 Riyadh from memory is $1. So once you get a couple of 10,000 Riyadh, you can go and spend $2 in a market and get yourself a little meal. Okay, so you've got the best of both worlds. You've got the foreign food, which is very, very good, and on a par with Bangkok, I'd say. And then you've got the local food, and it's like everywhere else. You can go to markets or you can go to tourist areas. Now, as far as getting all your daily items, your needs, toothpaste, toiletries, everything that you need to live on, food, shopping, if you want to cook at home, I did make the effort and I had a look around. They do have a Mecro, which is the kind of like a wholesaler's. They have a Lotus, a big supermarket, and they also have some independent shops. You can pretty much get anything. You haven't got any Villa supermarkets, so you're not going to get exact name brands from your own country like you can get it here in Bangkok and Pattaya. That's you can get absolutely anything in Bangkok or Pattaya. It's all imported. It's not quite the same in Cambodia. I couldn't see anything. I mean, I had a really good look in the supermarkets, and I couldn't think of something like, oh, I won't be able to get it. I mean, they had just about everything, and a lot of foreign food. That's imported from Thailand, actually. Now, it's a bit of an alcoholic's paradise, is Cambodia, because alcohol is just dirt cheap. You're typically going to pay 50 cents for a half a pint of Anka beer draft, which is peanuts. What's that, 20 baht? A bottle of spirit. I did check out, they've got a local Thai whiskey here that they sell in 7-Eleven called something like 265. And for a litre, it's about 365 baht, whereas over there, it's 275 baht. So it's actually cheaper in Cambodia. They have all the international brands, all the scotches, vodkas, everything. Prices, I couldn't see a lot of difference between here and here in Thailand and in Cambodia. And in fact, it looked cheaper over there. If you're a smoker, which I'm not, I looked at some packets of cigarettes. They worked out UK money, let's say dollars, about $5 a pack of 20 international cigarettes. I used to smoke, so I wanted to have a look. Drum rolling tobacco, which is from the UK, I think, 50 grams, which would cost you probably £25 in the UK, $4.50. So you can pretty much get what you need to get in Cambodia.